What is going on, my kings? So you got an apartment, maybe your first one, you're looking for ways to deck it out. I was in that boat very recently and it seemed like everything online for men's apartment tips were either clearly written by women or just contained insanely expensive items in luxury skyrises. Now, I'm no expert, but I did find a few things that will make your apartment seem a lot more clean, expensive, and masculine without breaking the bank. Everything in my apartment is linked in a spreadsheet below if you guys are interested, and let's get it. So first off, get things off the ground. I'm willing to bet your apartment is not that massive. And one way you get off the illusion of having much more space than you actually do is to show off as much of the floor as possible. So get plant stands for your plants, mount your TV, hang up your mirror on the wall. You could also opt for furniture with legs underneath it, swap out those bulky chesters for floating shelves. You guys get the point. If you don't believe me, just look up sofas online that are the same size and you'll see the ones that have legs underneath them versus the ones that don't. The ones that don't look much bulkier and take up a ton more space even though they're the exact same size. So show off as much of that floor as possible. Secondly, offer items that are more rigid and sharp. I've noticed that curvier furniture tends to look a lot more feminine. So go for the square and rectangle, mirror, trays, plates, etc. over the oval and circles. Thirdly, grab some frames. Frames make an apartment look much more well put together. They're slim, they're black. They give you a way to showcase something about yourself in a much more professional way than just canvas prints. Few things on frames though. Firstly, grab ones with mats inside of them. Those just tend to look more professional, and that white-black contrast will make whatever's in the middle appear to pop out more with its colors. Do not, however, get frames with any mass-produced art. We've all shopped at IKEA, and when you walk into your apartment, we will register that we've seen that before and it looks a bit tacky. This is a chance for you guys to showcase something about yourselves or give you guys memories, reminders in a cool, artistic way. For me, I hate useless decor, so everything in my frames are places I've lived in the past. San Francisco, Santa Cruz, Bay Area, Chicago. When I walk by them, it reminds me that I had these amazing memories, and also the future is incredibly unknown, so make the most out of the present. You guys can get them pretty cheap at Walgreens and Walmart. And if you guys wanna go like the next level with this, you guys wanna hop on Fiverr or some freelance site and send your photos over to like an editor, they will make them pop like a night and day difference. I'd really recommend that if you guys wanna have some nice pieces in your place. The other thing, which I'll touch on later, is that you don't need to put up frames everywhere. I know it's very tempting when you have an empty wall to feel the need to put something there, but generally speaking, less is always more. For me, all my frames are either in the entryway or in the bathroom. And lastly on frames is stick with 1 or 2 frame sizes. It's really clunky and feminine in my opinion when you see a wall decked out with a bunch of different frame sizes. Stick with large and possibly medium. If you guys want to know a good place to pick up frames, I'd recommend IKEA and Michaels. They're the cheapest and it's good quality. Next up is keep every single thing in your apartment organized and make sure every item has a home. It is gonna create a ton of clutter when you throw miscellaneous things in drawers. I've also learned this from losing my keys several times. Make sure every item has a home. I grab a ton of these connectable trays on Amazon, which I mainly use in the kitchen and bathrooms. That's where a lot of the mismatched items are. It creates a much more clean, professional look. It's easier to find things, and it just shows something about you that you're organized and you can take care of what you do have. You can also step this up a bit by grabbing a valet tray for your wallet and keys when you walk in, setting certain shelves or shelf space or drawer space for certain items using dividers, things of that nature. I covered this a bit more in my previous video when I went over my minimalist apartment tour, or whatever I ended up naming that thing. But really keep what you do have organized because it'll make your apartment seem a lot lighter and it's so much easier to find things. And building onto that previous point, declutter all the stuff you don't need. I know for a fact you have a ton of clothes in your closet that you have not worn in months or years. For my personal example, I had this one t-shirt I bought at a Trippie Redd concert and it was a large, and I wore it one time, threw it in the wash and it shrunk down to a medium. Like it would never fit me again. But I still kept it in my closet for 2.5 years because I was too stubborn to throw it away. So get rid of the stuff you don't need. It's much more than your closet. Utensils that you don't ever use, extra items, manuals, cables. I know your apartment is decked out with things and you will be mind blown if you actually take the time out of your day to actually organize and figure out what you don't need. So get rid of that stuff. It'll make your apartment seem much lighter and it'll make you value the things you do have more. Then for the stuff you do have or are planning on buying, opt for consistency as much as possible. You are gonna have thousands of items in your apartment, and in areas like your kitchen especially, they're all gonna be mismatched colors, shapes, sizes. It's just gonna be hard to make that smooth blend of throwing it together. And this even extends farther to your bigger furniture. Just think, for example, of all the different size containers you have in your pantry, the bottles in your fridge, the shampoo bottles, all the stuff you have in your apartment that doesn't really go together and it's visible most of the time. Find ways to maximize the harmony. So I use clear containers in the pantry. I use the same bottles for all my sauces in the fridge, same bottles for shampoo, conditioner, and body wash, and I have a dispenser for them in my main bathroom, same rugs across the apartment, same white glossy trash cans and white glossy flower pots. I use the same circular containers in the kitchen and bathrooms, etc., etc. I'll admit I might go a little bit overboard with this, but I hope you guys do see the point of finding ways to make everything look as much the same as possible. The other thing, if your budget allows it, is that opt for grabbing a good amount of smart home techs. This will make your life a million times easier and make your place seem much more appealing. For me, for example, I have a touchless soap dispenser in the kitchen since I wash my hands dozens of times here. I have an Alexa to set timers, reminders, etc. And Alexa showed her to do the exact same thing, but I also use as a digital photo book. And they all connect to smart bulbs and smart plugs. So I can turn on all the lamps in the apartment just by asking her. And I even have a few bulbs in the master bedroom, so they gradually get brighter 40 minutes before I wake up to get me out of bed. If you guys want to go one step farther with this, I also have a smart vacuum cleaner, a Dyson V15, and this one adjusts its suction power based on what it's on. Trust me, okay, that one is a little bit pricey, but the majority of this stuff is well worth it, and you will get your return on investments. And being able to walk in with, your friends, be able to say, "Hey Alexa, turn on all the lamps," it just makes your place just pop like that. On the opposite side of this, I'd say grab some plants. You could get more benefits in the air, so to speak, by getting an air purifier, but plants just add a ton of life to your apartment. They add a pop of color, and they tell other people that you can take care of something. And they add a bit of this homier vibe to the apartment that is a bit stark without them. So I recommend picking them up and getting like real plants, not just some succulents. Now, if you guys are gonna buy furniture for your place or willing to pick up some stuff, I would highly recommend you guys think of a theme and a color scheme for your place. For the themes, it could be modern, it could be industrial, farmhouse. You can make the whole place purple for all I care. If you guys don't really care too much, you just want a nice spot, I'd stick with modern minimal and a white, gray, and black color scheme. You'll save money by not having to buy too much furniture, and it's incredibly hard to mess up a white, gray, and black theme. And it's so easy to add an accent color or pops of colors here and there if you guys decided looking a bit too dull for you. In my place, I stuck with this exact same thing, minimal white, gray, and black. The only difference is I did add a brown, earthier tone, and I did make the greens pop out a bit more with some extra plants and a throw blanket on the sectional. If you guys don't plan out the theme, but especially the colors beforehand, all the stuff might look great in the catalogs or online pictures. When you throw it all together, it's going to become a real mess real quick. So really take that time out to especially get the colors down. Oh, and just a small note here that popped into my head. In your bedroom on the bed, I'd recommend sizing up the pillows. If you have a queen bed, get king pillows, king bed, get California king. You have a twin, get queen. It just makes the bed look a bit more, I don't want to just say luxurious, but also a bit like broader and bigger on the top. If you've noticed thinking back, all the hotels you've been to tend to have pretty big pillows. And the other thing is stick with just white sheets because that looks the most professional and clean. And on that, keep your place incredibly clean, immaculate. Once a year, take the time to do a really deep, thorough cleaning. I'm sure you guys think your place is fine now, but you'll be amazed the amount of filth that's in your window gutters, the top of your cabinets, on the back of the cabinets, the dust that builds up behind the TV, the back of your toilet. Once a year, just make sure you take a few hours, because it will take a few hours to do a deep clean on everything. Then for your casual cleaning, I'd say do a vacuum and wipe down and some other stuff for the bathrooms once a week, and then every 2 to 3 weeks, throw your sheets in the wash and then move your furniture to actually make sure you can vacuum underneath it and around it properly. Living in filth is just absolutely disgusting. Just take the time to keep your space clean. People will notice and you'll feel that it's a bit fresher. And then on my last point, I'd say spend money, but reasonably. Furniture gets very expensive very fast and it adds up as well. Even if you have a studio apartment, or even let's say a 1-bedroom, you need a bed, you need a TV, you need a couch, you need a desk, you need knives, you need just soap dispensers. Like everything will add up very fast, and you're gonna be amazed how fast money gets blown out. I know it's very tempting to go get the cheaper stuff because you think I'll get it now and then I'll size it up, or it's fine the way it is. But I'd highly recommend you guys buy furniture once, good quality stuff, and let it last you a very long time. I had cheaper furniture when I was in San Francisco, and I'm always like worried that if I tap it too hard or knock it or shake it, the entire thing is just gonna collapse. Really save up, really just save up and buy nice pieces. But of course, on the opposite side of this, don't buy unnecessary stuff you don't need and stuff that's way too expensive. Find that middle ground for what you can afford. I'll admit, I got a $20,000 sign-on bonus when I got hired full-time, and I was so tempted, all right, let me buy an 86-inch TV. I need a king bed to show I'm a man. And I snapped out of it pretty quick, thankfully, and I realized that stuff is just not necessary. Keep it simple, buy nice stuff. You don't need to go overboard to impress anybody. And I'm gonna close with this. It's okay to ask for help. When you do anything for the first time, there's a good chance it will not turn out well. When you're buying expensive pieces for your apartment, make sure that it actually is gonna fit and work together. I was gonna buy a lot of dumb items and have a dumb theme for this apartment, but I thankfully asked for help from my sister and my aunt, and it went in a much better direction. You don't have to take all their advice and don't get too many opinions, but asking for advice in this stage is totally okay, and trust me, it will likely pay off. And those are my apartment decor tips for men. This is my first time making a video in this sort of niche, so if you have more experienced guys or gals who wanna give their tips, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I do have a spreadsheet below as well that has every single thing in this apartment except for these 2 lamps in my bedroom. And if you guys wanna get a deeper look at my apartment, I made a video last week where I had a whole tour going on. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.